My name is Brian Wood and my current job is Head of Fundraising and Events for the Friends of the Princess of Wales's Royal Regiment, and it's a charity that supports and looks after current and ex-serving soldiers if they fall on difficult times, and looking after families who have been unfortunate and their sons have paid the ultimate sacrifice. In my family we've got 282 years of unbroken service history, which I'm pretty proud of that. I served for 16 years and I was involved in a number of tours, being 2 tours of Kosovo, 2 tours of Iraq and a tour of Afghanistan. Yeah, I definitely feel Keith's pain when it comes to the heat. When I was in Iraq we were actually in armoured vehicles, so it was 55 degrees in Iraq, which is scorching, and getting in the back of the wagon, it's just, you know, you were soaked with sweat and it's hard graft to try and get acclimatised. When you come under indirect fire, you can't ever, you know, plan for it, or you don't know how you're going to react. But I remember one time we had incoming and we were getting mortared at this particular moment, and I was with my platoon sergeant when it happened, and we just both looked at each other and then ran and got underneath like these corrugated, it was accommodation, but it wasn't even, you know, solid proof. So we just dived underneath it and then both looked at each other and then realised, laughed, and then got out of the accommodation and then headed towards hard cover. When Keith, you know, describes his story, then I agree, everyone acts differently. Everyone to contact, to incoming, everyone does act differently. It is hard to go back to normality. You're meant to do a transition overnight. It doesn't happen after what people have been doing. There is things in the system where you can go and speak to people if you can't get, you know, if you don't feel like speaking to your family and friends. There is ways you can go and approach people and say, look, I'm having difficulties at the moment. So like going into 3 enemy trench positions and taking lives was an ask. You know, I was 23 years old. Regardless what anyone says, when you take a life, it's difficult, it's a conscience, regardless where it's their enemy. You know, until you've actually heard, you know, their last breath, knowing that you've taken their life, it's still a conscience. I was probably blessed having my dad and my brother being in the military because they got it. Lucy, who is my wife, she tried to understand and help me as much as she could, but obviously she's a civilian and she's not in the military, so she done her best. But for me, it was having my family around me, which was key. Them people in the First World War, they never got any treatment with shock, any treatment with trauma, being traumatised. You know, they would just basically come back and then go and join the community, go and play your cricket like Keith did. You know, remembrance is very key, that we don't ever lose that, because in myself, I probably remember every day of, you know, different people who I know who have fallen, and to have it as, you know, one day a year where the whole public get together like they do, and we're good at it, we're very good at it, and we can't ever lose it, and then having most people pause for a minute, or maybe 2, or maybe 5, or maybe raise a pint, you know, to fallen comrades, and that goes back to the First World War and through to Afghanistan.